This is 8th grade math, and today we're going to be working on input-output charts. Make sure that you take good notes, please. These are the types of problems that you're going to see later when we have our quizzes. Okay, there are 3 ways to show a function. We've been working on functions. At this point, you should know what a function is. Function means that for every one input, there's exactly one output. We can show it as an input-output chart. We can show a function as an equation, which gives us the values for an input-output chart. Or we can show a function as a graph, where we graph all of the values of the input-output chart. Now, a graph, if it's going to be linear, which means it's a straight line, remember linear contains the word line, is going to require at least 2 points. So you need at least 2 points to get a line. Okay, so here's our examples today. We're going to start with the equation, and we're going to use it to make a chart and a graph. So here's my equation, y equals 3x plus 1. That's an equation for a function. I could also see it written f of x equals 3x plus 1. F of x means your output value. It means that other value you're going to get. In an equation, you can see it used interchangeably with y. They will mean the same thing in this moment. So you might see it either one of these 2 ways. Here's what you're going to do. We're going to make a chart, and we're going to start guessing some values to see if we can find some points to put on our graph here. All I did was draw an empty graph, just beginning. Okay, so I'm going to draw my chart with x's and y's. We could call them f of x's too if we didn't like y's. I'm always going to guess 0, 1, and negative 1, unless I have a problem where those wouldn't make sense. So if it gave me a word problem where it said that Walter walked so far each day, then I wouldn't guess negative 1, because Walter's probably not walking a negative distance. But if it's just an equation, the first 3 values I'm going to guess are 0, 1, and negative 1, because that'll give me a good idea of where the graph is. They're also easy to graph. You don't have to draw a graph that's 22 and 47 and huge values. Okay, here's what we do. We are guessing 0, 1, and negative 1 as our x values. We're going to take each of these values and put it in the equation and solve that equation then for that number to see what our y is. And then our y will go on our chart. That will give us the coordinates we need to put on our graph. Here we go. If x is 0, let's see what it works out to be. We're going to use 0 where we see x. So 3 times 0 plus 1. Well, I can pretty much solve that in my head. Any number times 0 is 0, plus 1 more equals 1. So if x is 0, y equals 1. Okay, fair enough. Let's try the next one. 1. If x is 1, I'm going to take my 1 and I'm going to put it in my equation where the x is. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. So if x is 1, y is 4. Oops, my marker's dying here. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. 4. Now let's try negative 1. Sometimes we have negative numbers and it helps us out to get an idea of where our graph is moving. If x is negative 1, we're going to put the negative 1 here for x. 3 times negative 1 would be negative 3 plus 1. You need to know your integer operations. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Negative 2. Okay, so I have my equation. I wrote it as an input-output chart. Now, each of these sets of values, 0, 1, 1, 4, negative 1, negative 2, become the points for my coordinate graph. They become my ordered pairs. So let's put these points, these 3 points, on my graph. I only need 2, because 2 points would give me the line, but I'm going to put 3 because I have all 3. My first point is 0, 1. So my x is not, this is my x, this is my y. My x value is going to be a 0, so that's right here in the middle. We're not going anywhere. My y value is going to be a positive 1. Positive 1. Well, that's right here on the line. 0, 1. Okay, let's graph another point. Point 1, 4. So my x value is going to be a 1. Here's the 1. My y value is a positive 4, so we're going to count up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. 1, 4. Great. Now I could make a line now if I wanted. I could take my ruler, I could connect those 2 points, and I could draw a line. I'm going to add one more point before I do that. -1, -2. Here we go. X is -1. So on my x line, I'm going to move -1. Y is -2. So I'm going to move a -2. Gives me right here. -1, -2. Now I have 3 points. It's even more exact. I'm going to connect them with my ruler. Draw my line. Oops. My ruler moved. There we go.